Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Tyler Merkovich with the Czar of the Playbook, Emery Hunt. We're bringing you our 2010 Big 12 awards and predictions. Let's start out with toughest schedule. I'm going with the Cyclones of Iowa State. That's too bad because they're coming off a winning season and a bowl win. That's Paul Rose. Early in the season, they got at Iowa, another non-conference game. They host Utah, but back-to-back, they get Oklahoma and Texas. So I think Cyclones are in for a tough year with schedule.
I'm going to go with Colorado. They play a lot of tough games away from Boulder, so that's tough when you're trying to rebuild the program. You go to Cal, you have to go to Oklahoma, Missouri, as well as Nebraska, and they play Georgia. That's going to be a team to contend with in the SEC at home. So that's a tough slate for a team that's trying to rebuild, especially with the talent they have on that roster.
And hands down, best recruiting class, you got to go with Texas. They got the defensive lineman Jackson Jeffcoat. His father used to play for the Dallas Cowboys. Reggie Wilson and Taylor Bible also. Linebackers Jordan Hicks and Tevin Jackson. And they got the wide receivers. They're loaded at wide receiver, but they still bring in 3 highly recruits. That's Darius White, DeMarcus Cobbs, and Mike Davis.
You got to go with Texas, like you mentioned. You mentioned guys like Jeffcoat and Hicks. Those two guys may be starters as true freshmen.
And pro prospect, it's Von Miller. He's just coming onto the scene. He's 6'3", 240 with great lateral quickness and a great burst. So I think Von Miller is going to be a great NFL player.
I agree with you completely. 17 sacks last season. He might hit 20 sacks this year as they go to a more aggressive style. Could have came out last year, but wanted to hone his skills a little bit. So I think Von Miller is the best pro prospect in the Big 12.
Well, team on the rise. I think Texas A&M is already here. And Baylor, I love what our Browns is doing. But Kansas State, Bill Snyder, slowly but surely building up that squad, and before you know it, that defense is going to be improved. So I think in Manhattan, they have a lot to look forward to. Kansas will be there soon with Turner Gill. That's going to be a battle, but Kansas football, both Kansas State and the Jayhawks are both improving.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Baylor. Waco, Texas is become a fertile recruiting ground, North Texas, period. So our Browns is building this program the right way. Griffith is an outstanding playmaker, and you also look at the running game he was able to bring in with Finley. You look at the receivers that he's able to bring in. So, you look at former first-round pick and Jason Smith. So he gets a lot of talent there. Browse is a great recruiter. He's building his team up the right way.
And Offensive Player of the Year, I am going with Landry Jones. He has a lot of weapons, and he put up great numbers last year. So I think Landry Jones, he's going to be a very improved player, is going to be Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year.
I'm going to go with Gerard Johnson. Best deep ball, pretty-wise, as former ECU quarterback, Jeff Blake, Cincinnati Bengals quarterback as well. Those are outstanding deep ball. If he could improve his short area accuracy, he may even be a dark horse candidate for the Heisman Trophy. Gerard Johnson, 6'5", 243, so look for big things out of
And he's got the weapons in Uzoma Nwachukwu, Ryan Tannehill, and the sophomore, Joe Fuller. So that's a pretty loaded receiving corps.
Exactly.
And Defensive Player of the Year, I'm going with Oklahoma again. Travis Lewis, freshman. I think he's going to put up a lot of tackles. He's going to excel with great players on that defense, and Brent Venables will put him in position to be a highly drafted player also.
I'm going with Oklahoma as well. I'm going with Jeremy Bill, a guy that can bring it, a guy that's a tremendous playmaker defensively. You get tremendous athletes out of Oklahoma. Bob Stoops does a tremendous job recruiting that talent for the defense, and Bill is going to be next in line of great Sooner defenders.
And now the North winner, I'm going to go with Nebraska. They got the best defense. I know Zach Lee still has some question marks, but they still have the run game, and the offensive line is very experienced. So I believe in Bo Pelini, and I think he's going to put up another title in the North Division. It's watered down, so it shouldn't be too hard, and the Cornhuskers get back to the Big 12 championship game even without Sue. They have a bunch of defensive, aggressive defense. They always hit you, and they're going to come at you on that side of the ball.
That being said, about the inexperience of the watered down Big 12, that's why I'm going with Missouri. I think Missouri has the better quarterback, one of the best quarterbacks in the Big 12, and the running game is solid. Defensively, they're going to be a lot better, so that's going to be something to watch, and I think they may catch Nebraska by a smidge because they have that advantage at the quarterback spot.
And in the South, I know my offensive and defensive player of the year are both from Norman, Oklahoma, and I really like Texas A&M up and coming, but that brutal stretch, their last 4 games, they have Baylor, they have played Oklahoma, Texas, and Nebraska in those last 4 games. If they win 3 out of 4, I'll be very impressed with that. Oklahoma, I'm not going with them. I'm going with Texas. I think they have the number. I know it's Blaine Gabbert, and they really didn't have the running game, but I think they'll put things together. Main key here is the secondary. You love Aaron Williams. Chucky Brown gives them depth. Blake Gideon. I think they have a better secondary than Oklahoma, and this is a passing league, the Big 12. So I'm going to go with Texas. I think they have Oklahoma's number, just like early couple years ago when Oklahoma had Texas number. I think it's the other way around now.
I think Texas has a lot of questions on defense with a lot of youth. That's why I'm not going with Texas. And I look at Oklahoma, they have a lot of injury concerns. Big players lost on defense. You look at Landry Jones, a guy that has to show he can play week in, week out in the Big 12 to be consistent. That's why I'm going with Texas A&M. They're going with aggressive 3-4, so that defense won't be as passive as it was last season. They're going to get after the quarterback. And if they can get after the quarterback, that's going to equal to a lot more wins for the Aggies. Gerard Johnson, outstanding quarterback. Running back Christian Michael is another talented playmaker. You mentioned those wide receivers. O-line is going to be steady. Defensively, they're going to get after the quarterback, and I think Texas A&M is going to win.
Finally put your big boy pants on and went out on a limb. Really went out on a limb. Oh, no Oklahoma, no Texas. It's Mike Sherman's year, huh?
Yep, they have to. He has to. Either win this year or you go.
I like that. That's going to be a good pick. Their offense is going to be fun to watch, and they got Tim the Rooter, defensive coordinator, to really stop the bleeding through the air because they were getting gashed on defense. So, I mean, you know their passing game, their passing defense is going to improve. But I like the Longhorns, too. It's going to be a rematch, Longhorns and Cornhuskers.
I think it's Missouri and Texas A&M. A&M has the schedule set up to make a run. They play a lot of weak teams.
You mean Nebraska and Texas A&M?
No, Texas A&M and Missouri. That's what I'm going with. I think they have the schedule sets up for A&M to play those weak teams in the front half, the back half. When they have their momentum, they can make a run at the Texas. They can make a run at Oklahoma. You mentioned we watched the greatest game last year, Texas A&M. You know, 2 or 3 plays determined that outcome.
That was a great game.
And you mentioned that you look at the bowl game against Arkansas, Texas A&M. The defense failed them. If the defense can get aggressive and not passive, Texas A&M could be scary.
Christine Michael is really an up-and-coming player. Small, speedy guy. He's going to break some big plays in that offense with some great players, including the quarterback. For more, visit footballgameplan.com/NCAA or visit us at YouTube at youtube.com/footballgameplan.